They misunderstood you because you are not an ordinary person. They mistook your silence for weakness, your boundaries for ego, your posture for arrogance. But you are walking on this path with a call from the depths of your soul. You are a chosen one. Your energy speaks, not your words. What they could not understand was that you did not come to this world to fit in, but to transform this world. Now the truth is coming out. Help the truth come out by writing 77 in the comments. Those who ostracized you, those who turned their backs on you because they didn't understand you, now have to face their own truth. This video will reveal why they completely misunderstood you and why you have now become an unstoppable force. If you're ready, the curtain is coming down. From the beginning, they couldn't handle your light. In the shadows, they lurked, weaving stories and whispering half-truths, secretly hoping to keep your potential in check. They thought their quiet sabotage would go unnoticed, but you were always one step ahead. The truth you carry has a power that moves swiftly, like a force of nature, cutting through a dense fog. They put on their false faces, acting all too supportive, yet their eyes betrayed the bitterness simmering beneath their smiles. What they showed you as kindness was nothing more than scrutiny. They weren't rooting for your success. They were quietly counting every single moment you outshone them, every time you made progress with grace. What they never understood is that they weren't simply jealous of what you achieved. No, they were consumed by the idea that they could never be you. And every attempt to mirror your energy, every time they copied your moves, only deepened their frustration. You weren't just a competitor in their eyes. You were a reminder of what they could never become. They lacked the inner light that made you who you are, and that absence pushed them to the brink of madness. Behind closed doors, they whispered and plotted, cloaking their envy with comments that were supposedly meant to protect you. They tried to chip away at your character, labeling your hard-earned success as luck, undermining every achievement you've made. But beneath the surface, you were already aware of their tricks. You saw the fake encouragement, the subtle digs, and the snide remarks disguised as concern. They didn't fool you for a second. And still, while they were trying to break you down with their petty games, you stayed centered. You didn't let their noise distract you. You were too focused on your own path, your own growth. As they spiraled in frustration, unable to replicate your essence, they started targeting your very existence, hoping to dull your shine by any means necessary. Their desire wasn't to see you fall, they wanted to see you fade into the background, to make space for their own fleeting light. What they failed to recognize was that your shine, unlike theirs, wasn't fleeting. It was divine, untouchable, and impossible to counterfeit. Their envy only confirmed one thing, that they had underestimated you from the start. No matter how hard they tried to tear you down or take what was yours, they could never reach the depths of authenticity and power you embodied. Your success exposed their inability to stand on their own, revealing their struggle to define themselves in a world that doesn't truly see them. If you feel the abundance of divine love in your heart, now is the time to share it. You can help spread God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube and contributing $20 or more. This divine gift will touch not only your life, but the souls of many through this platform. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand design, and your generosity will be the fruit of our prayers. Act now. Share your blessings to glorify His kingdom, for you were created to do even greater things in God's loving hands. May God bless you. And now, as their lies begin to unravel, it's clear. They were never the threat. They were always the ones in need of healing. They tried to mold you into a villain, to write their own story by portraying you as the antagonist. But in doing so, they exposed themselves, their insecurities, and the messy truths they had buried. While they were pointing fingers, trying to accuse you of things they fabricated, their own dark deeds were coming to light. Now, the tables have turned. Their lies are collapsing in on them, their reputation tarnished by their own actions. The masks they wore are slipping, and the narrative they tried so hard to maintain is crumbling. People are seeing through them now, asking questions about the motives they never explained. The web of deceit they wove is unraveling, and with every unraveling thread, the truth is coming to light. You never needed to play their game. You didn't have to retaliate or expose them, because the truth does that on its own. Your silence, your strength in the face of their chaos has been more powerful than any words you could have spoken. Now, as they choke on their own falsehoods, you rise, untouched, untarnished, and unstoppable. While they desperately search for someone to blame, you're building something real. Your spirit remains unshaken, your purpose clear. What you've been through was never about breaking you. It was about showing you what you're capable of when you stand firm in your truth. Your victory wasn't just inevitable, it was divine. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Now, they are left with nothing. Your absence has exposed their emptiness, and no amount of damage control can cover up the truth anymore. This was never your fight. It was always about them confronting their own lies. And as they watch you thrive, they're forced to face the consequences of their own betrayal. The truth is now undeniable. The lies they fed to others are now being returned to them, and the power they thought they had over you is no more. Their efforts to destroy you only revealed their own weakness. And in this moment of divine justice, you stand tall, untouched, unbroken, and ready to rise higher than ever before. You've always had an inner knowing that something was off, even when the details remained unclear. Deep down, you sensed the disturbance, the odd tensions, the growing distance, the awkward warmth they tried to force upon you. Their actions were distractions, a mask they used to cover their true intentions. They wanted you to stay blind, passive, and unaware while they carefully manipulated things behind your back. But your awareness was sharper than they ever realized, and it wasn't long before their plans began to unravel. The illusion they tried to weave started to fray, and now the truth is taking center stage. Their secrets are no longer hidden. The very people they deceived are now catching on and whispering among themselves. What they thought they could bury is now coming to light. And while they fumbled, trying to create chaos around you, you remained steadfast, watching it all fall apart from a distance. This exposure isn't just scandalous. It's the universe's way of setting things right. Spirit has allowed their carefully constructed facade to crack because they attempted to bury you and your truth. But little did they know, every bit of dirt they threw at you only became the foundation for your rise. And now, they are the ones choking on the very dust they kicked up. Take a moment to let that sink in. Here's something crucial to grasp. Right now, the few remaining slots in the exclusive Star Chamber of the Obsidian Inner Order are available to the most committed individuals. We've just released our most revealing video yet, where we delve into the beginnings of the Astral Atom Network, how we broke free from toxic control, and the sacred methods we used to reclaim our personal power. The same group that once shared fake laughs, spread lies, and plotted against you is now disintegrating in real time. Their network, built on envy and fragile egos, is crumbling to ash. Toxic alliances, forged from bitterness, are falling apart because they simply don't last. There's no integrity among the insecure, and as truth begins to leak out, those who once stood by them are realizing they were nothing but pawns. One by one, they're waking up to the manipulation. The spell has broken, and now they're left realizing that they've been complicit in lies they were too afraid to confront. They thrived in the echo chambers, dragging your name through the mud, believing they could diminish your light. But the more they spoke about you, the more people began to ask, why are they so obsessed with someone who doesn't even engage? Their desperate attempts to maintain control only highlighted their insecurities. Now, their influence is fading as the truth they tried to hide is now piercing through their facades. The lies they told to turn others against you are now unraveling, and their fake stories are exposing them for the chaotic instigators they truly are. Now, they are panicked, scrambling to maintain a story that's no longer believed. They're obsessing over every detail, checking who is still on their side, desperately trying to repair a reputation that is beyond saving. Their lies are unraveling, piece by piece, and the walls are closing in. What they thought was power was always borrowed. It was your energy they fed off, your strength they leaned on. The moment you stepped back, reclaimed your peace, and cut the cord, they started to falter. They never realized the true power was never theirs. It was yours all along, and now they are scrambling to power something that was never meant to last. The confidence they displayed was built on a shaky foundation. Your silence was your greatest strategy. They mistook your calmness for weakness, but in reality, it was protection. You didn't need to lower yourself to their level. You let them drown in their own energy. And now, they are haunted by the absence of your reaction. The same energy they once tried to absorb now stands as the very thing that elevates you, leaving them scrambling to find something to hold on to. Picture a wildfire blazing through the forest, unstoppable and relentless. The flames grow higher, the smoke thickens, and there's no place to hide for the weak structures that stood in its path. But amidst the chaos, there is one tree that remains untouched. It stands tall, its roots deep in the earth, its branches reaching toward the sky, unaffected by the flames around it. The fire can't break it, the smoke can't obscure it, and the storm only serves to make it grow stronger. That tree, my friend, is you. The truth they tried to bury is now out in the open, like the ashes of a charred landscape that can never be hidden. The lies they so carefully guarded now burn away like brittle leaves under the heat of your authenticity. They attempted to steal your light, casting shadows where only truth could stand. But now, the very spotlight they coveted shines back upon them, exposing all their deceit. You see, they thought they had the upper hand. They thought their secret schemes would never come to light. But what they didn't realize is that truth has a way of finding its way into the open, no matter how dark the cover-up. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be upon you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporal concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the super thank you button and donate $100, this movement will return to you 100-fold in abundance. You see, this isn't about settling old scores or trying to prove anyone wrong. This is about divine retribution unfolding right before your eyes. Just like the sunrise emerges faithfully each day, piercing through even the darkest clouds, the truth you carry is destined to shine through any barrier. You might remember a time when it felt as if lies had taken root deeply around you, as if their manipulation would overshadow the real you. Maybe they even convinced others temporarily, spinning false narratives designed to undermine your character and tarnish your integrity. But the reality is, their foundation was never solid. It was always weak and fragile, because it was built on lies and deception. They may have believed they could stand taller, secure in their illusions. They might have assumed their cunning words would silence you, diminish you, or even destroy the purpose that the universe placed within your heart. But let me assure you, that was never possible. Because truth, the real truth, is like an unstoppable force. It's like the gentle yet persistent wind that can never be trapped behind walls. Eventually, it finds its way through every crack, every opening, every barrier. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. Right now, that wind is blowing. It's tearing down the facades and revealing every hidden thing they hoped would remain concealed. What they once did quietly, thinking nobody would notice, is now being brought to light openly and unmistakably. Their attempts to bury your truth are now backfiring spectacularly, exposing their own hidden agendas. This revelation isn't coincidental, it's divine orchestration. The universe doesn't overlook injustice. It may seem slow at times, but rest assured, divine timing is precise and purposeful. They once thought they had control. Maybe they even gloated, believing their deceitful narratives had effectively diminished your credibility or dimmed your light. They thought your quiet strength was weakness, mistaking your patience for resignation. They mistook your silence as surrender, failing to see that your silence was strategic, powerful, and rooted deeply in spiritual wisdom. But now, the very spotlight they so desperately sought to take from you has turned around. It has become their exposure, their undoing. They're beginning to see the futility of building castles made of sand, because the tide of truth always returns to reclaim what was once stolen. Their plots, their schemes, and their careful manipulations are collapsing one by one, dismantled by the very lies they constructed. You don't need to lift a finger in retaliation. Your role now is not to lower yourself to their level. Your role is to rise, to ascend, to keep soaring to higher altitudes of spiritual awareness. As you continue aligning with the greater purpose placed within you, the universe itself takes care of revealing what needs to be known. You are protected, guided, and guarded, enveloped in a spiritual armor they cannot penetrate or tarnish. Remember, the storm they face isn't one you created. It's one they brought upon themselves by choosing dishonesty over integrity, falsehood over authenticity. They willingly embraced darkness, hoping it would overpower your light. But darkness can never extinguish true light. It only makes it brighter, clearer, and more powerful. As they spiral deeper into confusion, trying frantically to repair what can no longer be fixed, you remain steady, balanced, and unwavering, watching calmly as justice unfolds naturally. You are like a lighthouse standing tall amid raging waves, unshaken, undisturbed, and unmistakably clear. Your very presence illuminates truth, guiding others out of confusion and into clarity. Those who were deceived by lies are now drawn to your authenticity, recognizing the purity of your intentions and the sincerity of your spirit. They can now see clearly the difference between illusion and reality, manipulation and genuine connection. This moment of revelation serves a higher purpose than mere vindication. It's a lesson in spiritual strength and divine alignment. Your journey through these trials was not random or purposeless. It was training, spiritual refinement, preparing you to carry greater responsibilities. The difficulties and betrayals you faced were the fires refining your spirit, strengthening your resolve, and sharpening your discernment. Now your strength is visible for all to see. You've learned how powerful peace can be, how unshakable authenticity is, and how unstoppable divine purpose remains. Each moment spent enduring their attempts to sabotage you was a moment spent strengthening your spirit, deepening your trust in the universe, and increasing your inner wisdom. They didn't realize it, but every negative word spoken against you only reinforced your resolve, your spiritual stamina, and your capacity for grace under pressure. They believed their plots could halt your progress, but instead, their actions only accelerated your growth. They tried to steal your peace, but instead, they handed you a deeper connection with your purpose. They attempted to damage your reputation, but their deception merely provided the contrast that makes your authenticity shine brighter. Their lies were the very catalyst needed for your truth to be seen more vividly than ever. As their world crumbles, as their false identities dissolve, you remain protected by divine providence. Your integrity is your armor, your faith is your shield, and your alignment with higher truths is your unshakable foundation. You don't have to celebrate their downfall. Your energy is far too precious and powerful to be spent on such things. Instead, you continue walking your path, confident in the knowledge that everything hidden inevitably surfaces. You're witnessing the universe correcting imbalances, restoring what was lost, and clarifying what was obscured. This moment, this exposure, is part of a larger divine plan designed specifically to elevate you beyond previous limitations. You are stepping into a new level of influence, a deeper spiritual authority born from the wisdom gained through trials. So, let them stumble. Let them experience the consequences of their choices. Let their plots unravel naturally, because your focus is no longer on them. Your focus is upward and onward, fixed firmly on your divine purpose. They are a distraction you've outgrown, a lesson you've mastered. You now have bigger things awaiting you, new opportunities, connections, and experiences perfectly aligned with your higher path. Their attempts to control, manipulate, and diminish you have failed. Their actions now serve as examples of what happens when deceit tries to overshadow divine purpose. You don't need to prove anything anymore. Your truth is evident, your spirit undeniable. Their exposure is not your doing. It's simply the inevitable consequence of trying to suppress something destined to rise. As they fall into disarray, losing control of the narrative they tried so hard to craft, you remain peaceful, confident, and victorious. Their spiral downward serves as confirmation of your alignment upward. You remain untouched by the chaos, protected by the spiritual forces guiding your path. You are blessed, covered, and supported. No lies, no manipulation, no strategy devised against you can succeed, because your foundation is truth, and truth always prevails. While they plot their next move, scrambling to regain control, you are soaring higher than ever before. The winds of divine favor are at your back, pushing you forward lifting you higher. They may try to trap you in their web, pulling strings to orchestrate your downfall, but your spirit is untouchable. You are aligned with the truth, rooted in a foundation they can never understand. And while they spin in circles, their movements frantic and desperate, you remain calm, focused, and untouched. The beauty of your journey is that you don't have to fight fire with fire. The truth stands as its own weapon. You don't need to raise your voice in anger. Your silence speaks louder than anything they could ever say. The more they try to fabricate their stories, the more they expose themselves. You don't need to chase after vindication or recognition because the universe has already given you what you need: peace, clarity, and protection. As they spiral, filled with panic and insecurity, you rise higher, closer to your divine purpose. Let them be consumed by their own turmoil, because the very lies they spread have already sealed their fate. They tried to rewrite the story, but their version of events was always flawed. No matter how many chapters they tried to add to their narrative, the ending has already been written, and it's one of your triumph. The truth cannot be manipulated or erased, and now they're forced to face it. Now is the time to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. You can contribute to his plan and be a part of this divine mission with a donation of $100 or more. Every gift reflects God's generosity, and I believe it will return to you exponentially, far beyond your expectations. Remember, his protection and blessing is on your every step and every donation. You become part of his divine plan. You are a strong, radiant being, unshakable as his mighty rock. Witness God's miracles, feel the fruits of your generosity in your soul, and illuminate the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed, and let the light of the Lord guide your path. While they're tangled in the mess they made, you are flying above it, untouched. Your path is clear, and you walk it with grace, knowing that your energy cannot be tampered with. You didn't fight their battle. You stayed true to your purpose, and now that purpose has become your shield. And as they look around, wondering how they lost control, they'll realize that you never needed to fight them at all. Your silence and your strength were always your greatest weapons. They are scrambling, desperate, and afraid. But you are ascending. The spiritual protection around you is unshakable, and nothing they throw at you will stick. They are feeling the weight of their own lies as they try to explain themselves to those they've manipulated for so long. But just as the light of day cannot be hidden by the darkness of night, their actions will be exposed for all to see. If you feel God's presence, you can tap the join button below to become part of the first chosen ones and receive the most important revelations early. So let them go on. Let them fight their own demons. You've already won. While they attempt to cling to a past that no longer serves them, you are stepping into your next phase. You are elevated, not because of their fall, but because you stayed true to your journey. You kept walking forward, even when they tried to push you down. And now, the universe is rewarding you for your perseverance. Their game is over, and they didn't even see it coming. They thought they had the upper hand, but they never understood the power of your peace, the strength in your silence. Now, you're standing tall, your heart clear, your path lit, and your soul aligned. The truth is out, and with it, your rise has begun. Their true strength was never their own. It was always yours. And now that you've reclaimed it, there's no turning back. Their self-made illusion is fading, and as they panic, you continue to rise, leaving them in the dust. The peace they never understood is now yours, and with that peace, you are stepping fully into your divine power.